Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here to talk about my comics for the week. Okay, I've got a big pile to review here, so let's try to be quick. Invincible number 81. After Invincible fought Dinosaurus in Las Vegas, Dinosaurus set off some bombs, which apparently destroyed Las Vegas, leaving it to a thin layer of glass. And then when former villain, or I guess one of Invincible's old enemies, Powerplex, hears that he was there, he's sort of outraged at this because someone else died while Invincible was there. And he has a long history of people who have been killed, who were killed when Invincible was around. One was that his sister was killed when Invincible first fought his dad, Omni-Man, and the other time was when Powerplex wanted revenge and he accidentally killed his wife and son during the fight. And of course, right now, though, Powerplex is on some superhero team funded by the government called the Actioneers, and he's pretty much working on patrol, I guess. Meanwhile, back at the Pentagon, Invincible went to go talk to Britt, Cecil, and everyone else about what happened in Vegas, but that pretty much led to this whole discussion turning into that while the villains are probably getting better, that they need to get better too. And Cecil thinks that Invincible survived, so clearly Dinosaurus survived too. And we get somewhere in Georgia, the armor that Dinosaurus is wearing, and apparently he's gone back to human form and he's in hiding. Meanwhile, even Invincible show up. They find a guy with a gravity gun. Invincible recognizes it, and everyone else should, because a few issues ago, Invincible found a guy trying to steal money for an engagement ring, but Invincible convinced him to give up and try to sell his invention to make some money that way. And when Invincible goes to see him, he says, "Dude, I told you to sell. Why did you sell this to a bank robber? Why not sell to a lab or the military or something?" But the guy who invented it says, "Look, I have no idea how to contact those people. I just build this stuff in my basement." So Invincible takes him to the Pentagon and gets him a job that will work with, so he can work with Cecil and stuff. And after that, Powerplex shows up to get revenge on Invincible, and he pretty much tells Invincible. Pretty much still thinks that Invincible's responsible for all the destruction that could be there, but then Invincible pretty much talks to him and says that, look, all these deaths, they're still on me, and he realizes that, yeah, a ton of people die when he's around, but if he wasn't around, things could be a lot worse. And he is sorry for what happened to Powerplex's family, but he has to accept that he didn't bring his sister to the building that was destroyed during his fight with Omni-Man, and he wasn't the one who killed. And Invincible, wasn't the one who killed Powerplex's wife and son. And of course, that gives Powerplex a breakthrough that he was responsible for the death of his wife and son. And the Actioneers show up, and they're going to relieve him from duty and put him back into therapy. And then when Cecil asks Invincible how is he doing after Vegas, he says that he's dealing with it. And then Invincible returns home and sees Eve, and tells her that he didn't want to become a superhero because of his dad or his powers, but just because this world sucks and he wants to help people. But apparently this isn't really working out. And now Mark's pretty much questioning his whole identity of Invincible, because he feels like every time he does something as Invincible, things just seem to get worse. So okay. A little bit of a breakthrough for Invincible. Maybe that means he's going to take some time off. Okay, I think Invincible needs to take some time off from being a hero, because he just got through a whole war with his dad's alien race and stuff, and he needs a break to just relax and unwind and stop wearing the costume and just be Mark Grayson for a while. That's what I think. He should just relax and stuff. Alright, moving on. Marvel. Avengers Academy number 16. Again, I want to point out that this is the only Fear Itself book that I'm getting, okay? This is the only thing that has to do with Fear Itself that I'm getting. So don't ask me to read the main series or pick up any of the main series, because this is all I'm getting because I love Avengers Academy, okay? That's what I think, okay. Now then, in Dubai, Hank Pym's dealing with a worthy, empowered, absorbing man, while Quicksilver and Justice deal with the worthy, empowered Titana. And of course, Hank's pretty much trying to do his best to stop absorbing man, because right now he's all that stands between helping his students. And Hank's pretty much worried about the kids throughout the battle, and he just wants this battle with absorbing man to end. So he takes some buildings and is able to build kind of a archway here, and then he contacts Jocasta, and he makes it into an interdimensional doorway. Now that is smart. I give Hank Pym credit there. That is smart. But then as Absorbing Man is being sucked in, he has Titana hit their hammers together, and their hammers are kind of like Thor's, and they release some huge sonic boom, and that pretty much causes a huge amount of damage, and apparently knocks out Hank Pym. So he's down. Meanwhile, back in Washington, D.C., the Academy students are pretty much helping with evacuating the city while it's under attack by the Red Skull, who's possessed by some Asgardian entity called the Serpent or whatever. And she sent the Red Skull pretty much sent her men to attack DC, and now Vale and the kids are helping with the evacuation. Vale notices a little girl, and she gets the girl out of harm's way, and she asks where's the girl's mother, and the girl points to wreckage of a building. Vale goes in. She's able to help the mother get out of there, and just when you think mother and daughter are reunited, she gets gunned down by one of the Red Skull's men. Vale doesn't like that, so she goes in, and I'm not sure if she kills them or just knocks them out. But she returns, and she tells one of the medics that the girl's in shock, and to get her somewhere safe. And of course now Vale just feels terrible about what happened. So yeah. Okay. Avengers Academy number 16. Again, I love the Giant Man fight. Was pretty awesome. How Hank didn't have to grow real huge to beat the Absorbing Man. Instead, he just used his technology, the interdimensional doorways, just to take out the Absorbing Man. Not a bad way of going out. And also, the story with Vale was pretty excellent. It's more like she just learned a lesson about being a hero, but unfortunately, she learned it the hardest way possible. Okay. Okay, FF number 7. Oh, man. It's just another Black Bolt issue, okay? It's just telling the story. Black Bolt returns to Kree, and the Inhumans are still in charge of the Kree Empire. Black Bolt returns, yay, everyone's happy. Then they get the summons to return to Earth's moon to meet with the other tribes of the Inhumans. So they leave. And apparently 1,000 years ago, the Supreme Intelligence gave Ronan the Accuser some sort of Supreme Seed. I'm guessing that's just a safe way of keeping the Supreme Intelligence safe or whatever. And Black Bolt returns to the Blue Moon where the other 4 Inhuman tribes are. And yeah, Black Bolt pretty much now declares war on the alternate Reed Richardses. Alright, this isn't really exciting. I mean, now it seems like they're ending the whole Black Bolt return arc in this, and hopefully we're going to get back to the War of the 4 Cities that they've started back in FF number 5, and well, pretty much, if you like Black Bolt, you might like this, but I wasn't a big fan of this issue in particular, so... Okay, now, something that, if you've been following Dan Slott on Twitter, you've known that he's really been excited about this. Spider-Man number 666, the prelude to Spider Island. Okay, this isn't part 1, it's just the prelude, just to kind of laying the foundations and stuff. Now then, Spidey's given himself an internal monologue about how all of his time's pretty much split between the Avengers, Future Foundation, and his day job at Horizon Labs. So Spidey catches a few criminals, then hears word about Hydra Man escaping, so he goes and helps the young allies beat Hydra Man with with a new sort of spider gadget, which shoots into Hydra Man and freezes him instantly. And fortunately, that little gadget also helps Peter with his career at Horizon by helping him create a new portable cryogenic storage unit. So, good news for Peter there. Meanwhile, Carly, apparently, okay, the premise for Spider Island is that Spider-Man's foe, the Jackal, has released a ton of mutant spiders onto Manhattan, and they've pretty much been sent out to bite citizens of Manhattan and give them spider powers. So, one of the burglars breaks out of the web. He has spider powers. Carly is able to know he was coming and then knock him out. So she has spider powers. And Peter walks off, has a little run-in with Ben Urch and Nora, and Peter's friend Nora, and also Ben's the Hobgoblin. Then we get some scenes here with the Jackal talking to one of the people infected by spider powers, telling him to meet at this specific location to meet with the rest of the class, apparently, which I'm assuming is all the other spider victims. Back to the Baxter building, the Future Foundation has pretty much decided to shut down the building for a while so that they can check security after the Sinister Six showed up. And back to the Avengers, they play a little poker game. Then Spider-Man goes to meet with Shang-Chi with another sparring session for testing his new spider kung fu. But his new sparring partner is Julia Carpenter, the new Madam Web and former Spider-Woman. She tests Spider-Man's new fighting style, and then tells him that he's ready for the challenge that's ahead, which is Spider Island. So Spidey swings off, and he hears some voices in the distance going, "Dude, is that the real Spider-Man?" And he's like, "Okay, I'm getting paranoid." So he arrives home to see Carly, and Carly says that she wants to talk to him, but he can't right now, and that he can just wait till morning. Okay, final scenes. Jackal shows up at his laboratory with this weird tarantula creature. And apparently Jackal's working with someone. We don't know who it is, but she's obviously been supplying him with money and equipment and stuff to help with this whole spider experiment. And now Jackal's created a new sort of spider mutant, but it's apparently controlled by his benefactor. And then you get one final shot, which is for the new Island of Spiders thing. Okay, well, Island of Spiders. Spider Island. I am pretty excited for this. I think it will be interesting to see most of Manhattan have spider powers. So it'll be a mixture of good people, bad people. Who knows what's going to happen? Can't wait for the next issue to come out, and can't wait for this story to actually start next month, though. This was just the prelude. If you have plans on reading if you've heard about Amazing Spider-Man, how good it's been, but you haven't been able to try it yet, buy this issue, and it will sort of help you get caught. It's a good jumping on point at this. It'll get you prepared for the new big story arc, which is Spider Island, and it will be amazing. I hope it is. Okay, now for DC. Young Justice number 6. A comic book based off the Young Justice TV series. Now then, the Young Justice the teams had a campfire, and they've pretty much talked. In last issue, Aqualad and Kid Flash have pretty much talked about their origins, and right now, Red Robin's sort of having Robin. Sorry, he's Dick Grayson, and I don't know why I call him Red Robin, but anyways, Robin's having a little flashback moment to his origin, and there is a difference in this one from the original Dick Grayson origin that we all know, and it's that apparently Robin's family act also included his older cousin and an uncle. And when the night of the accident occurred, though, Robin's cousin, parents, and aunt died, but his uncle was apparently hospitalized for good. And then he was adopted by Bruce Wayne, and they pretty much forced their partnership. And taking back to the present here, Superboy, they reflect on what Superboy just said, which is taking out Superman, and everyone starts to speculate that he doesn't, and Superboy says that he doesn't really feel this, but it's just thoughts that happened. And so they pretty much, everyone just comes to the conclusion that it must be the stuff that Cadmus put in his brain, and that's what they want him to do and stuff. And now we get a different origin here for Megan Morse. So, okay, this Miss Martian, she's a relative, she's the niece of John Jones, and she has a pretty huge family on Mars. And when John Jones heard news about, oh yeah, and apparently all the Martians are still alive here. They live underground in Mars because the surface is uninhabitable, but John Jones pretty much returns to Mars as one of its greatest heroes because he's a hero on Earth, and they've heard news of his adventures and they praise him for it. And when John heard of his allies having kid sidekicks, he decided to create a sidekick so there'd be a junior hero from Mars. And there was a contest held, and Megan won, so John took her to Earth with him. And after Megan reveals her origin, the guys just everyone tries to go to bed except for Superboy, and he waits by the fire and he focuses on something, and apparently this image plays in his head, which is Superman going crazy, destroying the Daily Planet, killing Lois Lane, and then all of a sudden Superboy in his Cadmus, in that suit he wore when Aqualad, Robin, and Kid Flash found him in Cadmus, showing up and pretty much fighting Superman and then eventually killing him. And it's revealed back at Cadmus that they've been using the genomes to sort of run this image through Superboy's head so that they could use Superboy in case Superman ever went rogue and decided to kill everyone, that they would have a new Superman, but this one would be completely under their control. Okay, so Superboy finally realizes, kind of comes to the conclusion of why he's created, and this is sort of a new origin for this TV series that hasn't had a new episode in months. So yeah, really, Young Justice, the comic book, it's only interesting if you've watched the show. If you've watched the show, then you should really pick up the comic book because there have not been any new episodes in months. So, yeah. But I'd say this is okay. I mean, it's not great, but it's just kind of low B-ish. That's my grade for it. Okay? Next up, Green Lantern Corps number 62. Flashback to when Star Sapphire Miri gave Kyle and Sornik a vision of their one true loves, of who their heart belongs to. For Sornik, it was Kyle. For Kyle, it was his at the time, late girlfriend Jade. And when Sornik says that she saw Kyle in the crystal, she asks who he saw, and Kyle says, I saw you. And of course, that's one of the things Kyle's been beating himself up for. And he's pretty much been bummed since the whole death of Mogo and what happened to Hal. And while he's having a conversation with Tomaru, suddenly their Sapphire Miri gives him a vision and drags him and Tomar through some sort of spatial portal and teleports them to some planet where apparently Sapphire, and as well as Sornik, and apparently she's attacking this planet and hoping that Kyle and Sornik can stop her. And of course, Kyle and Sornik are doing their best to stop her, while Tomar takes a look around and learns that apparently she's not killing anyone, she's just doing property damage. So he wants to know why she's doing this with all the trouble. And then Kyle realizes, we have to work together to stop her. So they stop Miri, and Miri reveals to them that she did it because she didn't want Kyle and Sornik to fight anymore, and that since she's a Star Sapphire, she's embedded with the emotion of love, and she says that she wants their love to be healed or whatever. And then, after everything they've been through, which was seeing the crystal, then having Sornik sort of give her energy back to bring Kyle back to life during Blackest Night, and then Kyle, in angry, just says, "I didn't even see Sornik in your stupid crystal." Reading that, I'm like, oh god, you're dead, Kyle. You're dead. And of course, Sornik's pissed at him, and then he says that, look, alright, when I looked in the crystal, I saw Jade, but she was dead, right? And he didn't want to, and Kyle didn't want to, pick someone and spend the rest of his life pining over someone he can never have. Instead, he chose life, and he chose her, but Sornik's pissed at him and breaks up with him officially. So, yeah. Well, that's the end of Kyle and Sornik's relationship. Too bad. Well. Who knows? For all you fans of Kyle and Jade's romance, maybe that means they'll finally pick it up again. They might pick it up again. Don't know, but hope for the best. And there's only one issue of this of Green Lantern Corps left until the big relaunch. So I'd say this is pretty good. I would say that this issue, though, normally I'm not a fan of romance and stuff in comics, but when it's romance to the center and stuff, but this was actually pretty good. I mean, yeah, Kyle kind of lied to her, and let's face it, you've never lied to the girlfriend, no matter what. Unless you have a death wish, then yeah, lie all you want. Okay, back to comics. DC, Teen Titans number 98, The Return of Superboy Prime. Alright, flashback. Back when they fought the kid who got enhanced psychic powers back at the very first story written by J.T. Kroll on Teen Titans. While there's this huge hole opening up to reality, apparently something got through. And that something is Superboy Prime. And Prime realizes that he's no longer on his Earth, he's on Connor's, so he's pissed. And now he's out to kill Connor, because this world does not have his girlfriend Lori in it. What a bitch. Alright. And now for the individual Titans getting their own pages. First we have Bart Allen apparently in Keystone City, beating up all the rogues. Then Inertia shows up, and Bart's pretty much getting his revenge on Inertia and getting ready to throw him right into the Speed Force. But then it's revealed that this is all a simulation created by Bart by using some sort of virtual reality pod he saw in the 31st century that he really built there for training. But Red Robin's becoming a little concerned because Bart's starting to spend most of his time in there. Meanwhile, Connor and Cassie still talk about their relationship and about how they broke up and stuff. And so then Cassie pretty much gives some sort of box back to Connor that's important to him. We don't know what's in the box, but who knows what's going to happen. And Raven is still trying to struggle with Solstice on the team, because since she has powers of darkness, Solstice has powers of light. Raven tries to avoid emotion at all times, but Solstice is sort of embracing emotion more. And Beast Boy's on a date. Then all of a sudden the building crashes, the Titans show up to help, and they get a visit by not just Superboy Prime, but a ton of other villains the Titans have fought. There's Indigo, Zookeeper, Persuader, Inertia, Sun Girl, and Headcase. Yeah, in case you're wondering, Headcase is the guy they fought from the first story, the one with Damien. Okay? So now Connor's angry, and the Titans sort of fight their sort of counterparts or whatever, each villain kind of having a specific role in this. For Zookeeper has been obsessed with Beast Boy's powers, and Zookeeper's also in the Beast Boy miniseries from way back when this series started. Not in the 80s, I mean when Jeff Johns relaunched it. And Ravager, Persuader was part of the Terror Titans arc. And Inertia, well, he's an evil clone of Bart, and he killed Bart. So now Bart has some issues there. And of course, we all know the story between Superboy Prime and Connor. And of course, when Superboy's fighting Connor, he tells him that he's the real Superboy. But then 3 other Connors show up. I don't know if this is time travel or some alternate Earths or whatever, but this looks interesting now. Okay, I thought this, honestly, I did not have much faith in this final arc because it was going to be the return of Superboy Prime. I thought that maybe Prime was a bit overused, but now they don't just have Prime, they have a bunch of other foes that are kind of like negative versions of the Titans, such as Zookeeper, Persuader, and Inertia. But I think the gathering of those villains, and plus, what's with the alternate 3 Connors, or is that time travel, or whatever it is? I don't know, this looks pretty good. I mean, I would say, though, that this pretty much just lays the foundations for the story arc that's going to be concluding this volume of Teen Titans, but it looks interesting. I mean, I want to pick up the rest now. So, yeah, if you have read, if you were a fan of Superboy Prime and Infinite Crisis and, what was it? Oh, yeah, Legion of 3 Worlds, and you just want to see him and Connor duke it out again, then start picking this up. If not, then, well, maybe if you're a Bart Allen fan, because Inertia's back, so probably Bart's going to get some center of attention during this story. Okay, moving right along. Detective Comics number 880. The Joker has escaped, and apparently he's attacked Gordon's wife. And Gordon pretty much brought her to the crime lab in Wayne Tech, hoping that they could figure out how to cure her. And Dick pretty much promises Jim that he'll do something about this. So Dick, as Batman, goes off to find the Joker. And while they're and also Red Rob and Tim Drake is apparently back at the lab checking in on Gordon's wife and telling Dick that apparently the Joker toxin used was an older version. So Batman follows Joker's trail, and he's able to find out where Joker is. And I like the way Scott Snyder portrayed Joker in this. The way he kind of talks and how he knows the difference that this isn't Dick. How he knows that this is Nightwing and the original Robin and not the original Batman. Which I think is probably excellent, pretty cool for the Joker since he's probably maybe one of the only villains to actually recognize that, to know that this isn't the original Batman. So while he's fighting Joker, Batman wants to know why he attacked the Gordons, but then Joker says that it wasn't him. And then when Gordon's wife recovers, she tells Jim that it wasn't the Joker who attacked her. It was actually James Jr. And right now he's gone to see Barbara Gordon, the Oracle. Okay, Detective Comics 880. Wow, it was good, with a nice little twist there that apparently James Jr. got his hands on some Joker toxin that he used to frame the Joker. Okay, this is really this is a really impressive arc, a really impressive run by Scott Snyder on this, and also I really do give the guy credit for writing in Dick's monologue, for writing in the stuff with the Joker. I mean, that was really brilliant, and I really enjoyed Scott Snyder's run on Detective Comics. I'm glad this series is concluding with him writing the last issue next month, and also I'm really looking forward to Scott Snyder writing Batman. I mean, that will be impressive. Okay, Action Comics 903. Doomsdays are attacking at different locations on every Earth, and each member of Team Superman is on it. Meanwhile, Star Labs is taking a look at the body of the original Doomsday, and all of a sudden he awakes, and apparently the original Doomsday is possessed by the Eradicator. Now Doomslayer, he's pretty much getting ready to destroy the entire universe to remove all Doomsday and all knowledge of Doomsday from the entire universe. And now Superman launches himself from a cannon to enter Doomsday's ship Doomslayer ship. And meanwhile, the Eradicator in Doomsday's body is pretty much leading his own assault team to take care of all the alternate Doomsdays, while Superman is trying to figure out a way to stop Doomslayer. So while this is going on, Superman is dealing with the big guy, while Eradicator is trying his best to control the Doomsday body and help the heroes take out every single alternate Doomsday. And towards the end, though, Doomslayer notices Superman and he gets ready to throw him into the core of the ship. Okay. Now then, Action Comics 903. Lot of action. It's every member of the Superman family plus the Eradicator in Doomsday's body taking out alternate Doomsdays, while Superman's trying to take out the big bad guy Doomslayer, who's trying to destroy the entire universe. Okay, Superman's role in this was a little weak, but everyone else fighting the Doomsdays, that was pretty awesome. I really hope that finally Superman is able to take down Doomslayer next issue, and let's face it, he will, because he's Superman. And, well, the next and final issue of Action Comics. But this one, it's okay, but it kind of gives you an ending that that makes you wonder what happens next. So, yeah. Okay. Hal Jordan Flashpoint Comics time. Hal Jordan number 2. Hal sort of focuses about the day his dad died and there was nothing in the paper. Instead, they all focused on some appearance of a superhero. And Hal's a little uncomfortable flying next to Avengers. And then, all of a sudden, Amazons attack Coast City. And Hal Jordan's trying his best to stop them. And then Carol shows up, also flying the plane to help him. And while they're doing their best to fight off the Amazons drop. Oh yeah, also the Amazons each have an invisible plane. Should point that out, but they drop some box which contains a 3-headed dragon. Okay, and Hal Jordan is pretty much able to take it out by just shooting at it, and then flying his jet and apparently shooting each head off and then defeating the dragon. And after Hal defeats the dragon, he tells Carol that he volunteered on a mission for the government, which would be delivering the Green Arrow nuke onto the Amazon-Atlantean War in Europe. Okay. Well, we're seeing that even though without the ring, Hal Jordan is still a hero. Okay, he's still doing his best to fight off bad guys, and hell, the guy took out a 3-headed dragon with a plane. That's pretty damn impressive. And now he's the guy who's gonna help solve the Amazon-Atlantean War by dropping a nuke on Europe. Okay? So yeah, I think this is a pretty impressive comic because it doesn't just focus on... It's not really focused on Hal Jordan the Green Lantern, but Hal Jordan the character. It's more like what if Hal Jordan never got the ring, or maybe not, because, it really focuses... I think this focuses more on Hal Jordan the man rather than Hal Jordan the hero and stuff, which is a nice little perspective, I guess. Okay, now then. Kid Flash lost. Hopper Suit, the new Hopper Suit is Barry Allen's friend from the crime lab, and she's trying to help Bart Allen figure out a way to access the Speed Force again so that he could go back in time and correct the future, which the 31st century is now ruled by Brainiac. And again, Bart's starting to disappear from time because history's been altered, and apparently he may no longer exist. So Bart gets recaptured by Brainiac, and while Brainiac locks him in a virtual reality, Bart's able to use his super speed there, and then while he's there, he's able to rewrite all of Brainiac's programming. And of course, Patty finds an energy sphere that sort of contains the Speed Force, but unfortunately she gets killed, and then breaks it open so that Bart gets some energy back back into the Speed Force. And now Bart pretty much says that Flash is the only one who can help him, and he's going to find him even if it kills him. Okay. Kid Flash lost. Well, Bart really knows his way out of a computer. And we're still not so sure what's going to happen to Kid Flash now, since he was sent to the 31st century. So we don't know whether or not Bart's going to get back or not. Sorry. Or what's going to happen to time, because Barry, I think for Flashpoint universe, Flash and Kid Flash are kind of time anomalies, so that might be why when Barry recreated the Speed Force back in the 21st century of this timeline, Bart didn't feel it, so Bart had to break that sphere open to get his powers back. So now Bart has to find the Flash before he gets erased from history. I'm kind of liking this. We've never really had a good story that sort of focuses on Bart for a while, and I like it. It's very nice. I mean, I like Bart I liked the series where Bart was the Flash, but I like him as Kid Flash better. Okay, Project Superman, issue 2. Now then, back when Kal-El's sort of a young boy, he's pretty much getting tested on, getting fed solar energy so that they could learn more about his powers. And while this is going on, you can sort of see General Lane kind of treating Kal as the son he never had. And everyone in the base refers to Kal-El as Subject 1, but General Lane's the only one to call him Kal. And apparently, and also Krypto's still alive here, and they're just keeping the dog around just to sort of calm Kal down and stuff. And while this is going on, Kal's pretty much hearing the voice of Subject Zero, who we saw last issue, who was given a ton of powers, but he went out of control. He's pretty much telling Kal what to do with his powers and stuff. And then during a test, General Lane's trying to teach Kal to use his powers to fight back and stuff. And unfortunately, the people in charge here want to separate Kal from his dogs so that Kal can learn negative reinforcement. While this is going on, General Lane is kind of encouraging Kal to put up with the test and that someday he can be a hero, and tells him that someday Kal can be a hero. And while General Lane is given a tour one day to Lionel Luthor, who's joined by his son Lex, and they're getting ready to kill Krypto, but Subject Zero sort of takes control of Krypto and has him fight back. And Lionel Luthor uses Lex as a shield and lets Lex get killed so that they can have the opportunity to kill Krypto. That's just messed up. It's on many levels. So now Kal lost his dog, and apparently, one day Lois comes by to wish her father a happy birthday, and General Lane's a little surprised because this is a top secret facility, so how does Lois keep getting in? Then Kal is able to escape, and he meets Subject Zero. And Subject Zero pretty much asks Kal to come with him and make sure nothing like this ever happens again. So Subject Zero's going crazy and killing everyone in the project, but Kal's seeing this and he's a little terrified and he runs away. And while Lois's dad tells her to stay in the office, Kal runs in and Lois meets Kal-El. And then Subject Zero shows up and tells him, and he starts to threaten Lois, but Kal stands up for Lois and stuff against Subject Zero. But thankfully, General Lane comes in to save the day. Now he doesn't kill Subject Zero. Instead, apparently they have access to the Phantom Zone, and so now General Lane and Subject Zero are in the Phantom Zone. And with General Lane gone, now they get replaced by a new general, General Nathaniel Adam. And he tells Kal that from now on, his cell is his only home, and that they'll still run tests and experiment on him, and someday they might let him fight for their country. Or it might not. And after the general leaves, Kal makes a little sketch into his wall, which is a little picture of Lois. Okay, and that's the end of that. I was wondering whether or not Kal-El and Lois would meet during this series. I mean, I wasn't too sure, given that, this is a secret facility and generally might not bring his kids in, but Lois was able to show up and she meets Kal-El, and now, even though Kal has had little interaction, he still remembers her and he likes her. It's kind of cute. And you know what? It kind of gives you hope for the new DC relaunch with, although Lois and Clark aren't going to be married and apparently Lois will be in another relationship, it can kind of give you hope for that one day they'll soon find each other again and be together, like in every other reality that DC has created. Alright, that's the end of my reviews. Project Superman number 2. Nice little different little perception, sort of a what if Superman was found by the government and raised by them. Kid Flash Lost number 2, a series starring Kid Bart Allen. Very nice, love it. I really like it. Hal Jordan number 2 gives you more of a look at Hal Jordan the man rather than Hal Jordan the hero, and also shows that Hal can still be a hero without his Green Lantern ring. Action Comics 903. A lot of action here with the Superboy family and heroes of the DC Universe going against the alternate Doomsdays, while Superman tries to figure out a way to stop Doomslayer from destroying the universe. Action Comics 880. Scott Snyder does an amazing job writing Batman villains and also the heroes as well. I would definitely recommend picking this up. Teen Titans number 98. The foundation for the final story for Teen Titans has been laid. It's going to be, if you enjoyed seeing Connor fight Superboy Prime, you're in for a treat, especially with all the other negative Titans coming back. And Bart, and again, like I said, because the Nurse is back, Bart Allen might take more of a focus on in this story. Green Lantern Corps number 62. Kyle and Sornik finally break up. Perfect timing too, because this series was about to end. Young Justice number 6. If you're a fan of the TV series, I would say get it because it might be a while until they make new episodes. Amazing Spider-Man 666. The prelude to Spider Island. If you haven't been reading Spider-Man in a while and you want to try it again, this is the book you need to read to jump back on. FF number 7. I'd say skip it if you're not a fan of Black Bolt. Avengers Academy number 16. Great issue. Dr. Pym uses his mind to defeat villain. Uses his mind rather than his giant fists to defeat a villain. And Vale learns a very hard lesson about being a hero. And Invincible number 81. Mark starts to doubt whether being invincible is the perfect way, is really the right way to save people. Alright, that is it. And, oh yeah, comic of the week. Let me think here. What would be my comic of the week? I've got to go with Amazing Spider-Man 666. I love this. I really look forward. This is definitely a good prelude. It really makes you look forward to Spider Island. I cannot wait for part 1 to come out next month. The next 2 parts to come out next month. Alright, Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.